Hello everybody, it's me, Riffraff Hornhelm, and I'm back again with another presentation from the Dwarven Vault, and today we have a monster review. And today's monster that we're talking about is the Hound of Ill Omen. And this comes to us from the original Fiend Folio, as was used typically with first edition rules or what you typically found in the original book editions of the game, of Dungeons and Dragons, of course. So Advanced Dungeons and Dragons First Edition would typically encompass the Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and Monster Manual as the first published sets of rules for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Complete. I gotta emphasize that. There's a lot of people who go off on this subject, which makes no sense to me. But bottom line is that the Hound of Ill Omen, coming to us from the Fiend Folio, means that it was essentially part of that submission that came from Europe, primarily, though it wasn't 100%, it was mainly out of Europe. And the Hound of Ill Omen is a really, really cool creature. If you've been playing the game for a long time, you've either been on the receiving end or giving end as a DM on this probably multiple times. It is the communicator of the gods, the communicator of displeasure. So what does that really mean? Well, okay, if your character worships a specific god, and that god is angry at you, he can send you a Hound of Ill Omen. Well, the Hound of Ill Omen is only visible by the character on which it's been sent. So whoever was the target of the Hound of Ill Omen is the only one who can see it. Also, the only one who can hear it. Now, if he's smart and tells somebody and they have the opportunity to remove curse on him before he gets into his next combat, the results are not as bad. But they're still bad. Because essentially what happens is you go into combat and have, I believe it's up to 10 rounds of combat where you take quadruple damage. And during that time, that quadruple damage cannot be healed. If you die during that time, well, the gods got you. If you didn't die, then you also have penalties for healing. The Hound of Ill Omen is really powerful, and the neat thing about it is not a damn thing you can do about it. It is not affected by magic. It's not affected by physical weapons. It doesn't matter how many hit points it has because you can't hit it. Now that's pretty cool right there. And it gives you a lot of room to work with for an adventure if you're a dungeon master and either have this plan to show up at some point in the dungeon, or it comes about as the result of one of your players' gameplay. And this is where it's very important as a dungeon master to make sure that you're fair about using this. If somebody really goes outside of what their god would find acceptable, the deity that they selected for their specific character, and he's doing things like, yeah, you have a lawful good deity and you're out hitting all the bordellos or something like that. If you're egregious about what you do on that side, a Hound of Ill Omen is a very, very real possibility. And it's just one of the many tools that are given to you in Dungeons & Dragons that you can use to alert your player or party to things that are making the gods upset. We will cover more of these as we go along, but we're going to stick with the Hound of Ill Omen right now. So the Hound of Ill Omen is so specific that I really don't need to go out and ask anybody in the Dwarven community about what their experience has been on that. If they ran into it, they probably died. And if they didn't run into it, well, nobody around you sees it except the person who is targeted. Now, it's supposed to be a large, intimidating beast that stands 6 foot tall at the shoulder. So it scared the hell out of you. And when it lets out this howl, it's earth-shatteringly loud to you, echoing everywhere, but nobody else can hear it. except you, whoever that targeted individual is. That's pretty scary stuff right there. So, of course, we went out to the greater Hornhelm community and asked them about the Hound of OMEN, and talking to everyone out there. This is the only time that I've had the creature ranked a 10 out of 10. Both by the dungeon masters I spoke to and also by the players who had been on the receiving end for it. They said this was something that induced fear and ended up killing the victim in nearly every single case. That's pretty fearsome right there. The Hound of OMEN is without question not just a creature that's able to do things, it does them. There's no real opportunity for the victim to interrupt what's going on. You can't do anything with magic, you can't do anything with psionics, you can't do anything with anything. One of the truly omniscient creatures that exist in the game. Very cool. Gotta have a few like this. So, if you haven't used a Hound of OMEN, you're going to want to as soon as you read the entry. It's worth it, and if you haven't, you should consider using it under the right circumstances. Trust me, it really gets everyone's attention. So that, my friends, is the Hound of OMEN. We hope you found today's presentation to be interesting, educational, amusing, all that kind of good stuff. If you did, please be so kind as to leave us a like. Consider subscribing if you haven't. And, share with your friends, drop us a comment. But most importantly, come back and see us again real soon. We thank you so much for your very kind support. Take care, everyone, and remember, dwarves rock!